Good morning, everyone. It's Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. This week we have been using the Shaman Wisdom cards. And I've got information about this deck in the description box below. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I truly do appreciate you. These messages are timeless, so whenever you happen to find this video and you're inspired to watch, there's likely a message here for you. But of course, take what resonates and leave the rest of it behind. These messages are general for the collective regarding today's energies. So tune into your own intuition, your own inner guidance, higher self, spirit guides, so that whatever card comes up, you might also find your own personal messages and insights. Okay. Number 11, the Snow Moon, Aquarius, Rosette's Elders. The Snow Moon. Yeah. I know the Aquarius full moon is actually in July. But when the sun is in Aquarius, the snow moon, I believe, is the full moon in January. I don't think it's the full moon in February. I think it's the full moon in January is the snow moon. Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means. But, so I'm definitely picking up on... Yeah, with that 11 and that 2 energy. There's something here about balance and harmony. There's also something here about like hope for the future and something to do with the new year. Now, I don't know if that specifically means January or February. You know, following the Lunar New Year can be at the end of January or the beginning of February, like the Chinese New Year, right? Celtic New Year is, at the time that I'm recording this, is actually coming up. It starts in the autumn harvest season. But giving the timing of the snow moon is going to be like January or February, I believe. And this sun in Aquarius. So I'm getting this energy here of there's hope, there's a new beginning, there's a fresh start to something. Aquarius is also reminding me that's a sign, I guess, that's associated with the star card in the tarot. And so I'm picking up on that association as well in terms of there's something like even when it's wrong, it's right. A lot of people have hang-ups on the words of like destiny or fate and things of that nature. But it's almost like there's a certain amount of something happening for you, not to you. So if there's challenges around you at this time, you know, the star card with that Aquarius zodiac, there's something about like having hope, seeing something through, like a follow through. Consider long term, not short term. And there's something in there in terms of like, there's another angle to look at this from, and that can inspire answers or solutions or, opportunities to move forward where you thought maybe there was a blockage or a wall or that something was too overwhelming to get through or to get around. This energy today can be showing like, hey, but this is gonna unfold. It's gonna pan out, and it's going to land you in a place where you need to be. That's better than whatever it is that you might be leaving behind, or where you might feel like you're at right now, especially if you feel like you're being blocked or stuck in a particular energy. So I feel like today's energy, the messages that are coming through is like shifting perspective, letting yourself go into the realm of, okay, I'm not going to sit here with the problem because the solution isn't here. The solution is over there. So I'm going to go for a little walk over there and see what solution pops up for me. So there's something here about like laying something down or stepping back or stepping aside, shifting perspective. And I want to say that there's also an energy they're showing me of like moving the body. So how sometimes if you're highly stressed out or if you've been feeling stuck, one of the ways to shift perspective through engaging your physical body is to shift physical position. So if you're sitting down, lie down. If you're lying down, stand up. If you're standing up, have a seat, right? Or like going for a walk, moving, when our cortisol spikes because we're stressed out or what have you, sometimes we need to go for a walk, whether you're going down the hall to the break room or whether you're going outside and around the block. But like that forward movement of the physical body actually triggers the nervous system to like mellow out. The keeping your chin parallel to the ground and sort of scanning the horizon around you, moving your eyes, that also triggers the brain to settle, calm down. There is safety, right? The fresh air, the sunlight, all of these wonderful things can come in then and actually just literally a breath of fresh air, right? Can clear our head. So whether it's a 5-minute walk or a 10-minute walk, or again, if you're not in a position to do that, walking down a flight of stairs and then taking the elevator back up, or walking, like I said, down the hall to the break room, depending upon your setting, figure it out. But there's this sense of when you get moving and you shift physical position, not only do you work out some of the stress energy that your body wants to respond to, but you're also sort of clearing your head for a moment, getting yourself into your physical body. So something in here about shifting position if you get stressed, or, if you're stressed from overworking, you might need to sit down and take a breather, like give yourself that time. So today's energy, whether it's mental or physical stress, it needs to be balanced with whatever that opposite is. So 11 can be reduced to a 2 vibe, and the 2 vibe is all about that balance and that harmony. So tapping in and out of when you find yourself in a particular situation, state of mind, that kind of a thing, tap into the opposite. If you're getting too tense, too constricted, too overwhelmed, or what have you. The other aspect of that, again, is that emotional, spiritual, mental balance of, you know, it's not just today, right? There's future. And we might not be able to see it clearly. And from where we stand, it may or may not look that great, although we can pretty well hope that it would be much better. But there's something in here about new beginning, let the process unfold, you know, kind of giving yourself the grace to do the best you can with what you have right now. You don't have to worry about the future. You just have to realize that, hey, the wind is going to keep blowing. The tide's going to keep going in and out. You know, things keep turning. And it's all okay. The to-do list will get done. You know, you'll make headway on whatever it is that you're working on. You'll be able to, you know, clean up and start fresh from whatever shifts and changes that you might be making. There's this sense of hope, and renewal and new beginnings. Take timing with a grain of salt, but if it has to do with when the sun is in Aquarius or when the snow moon rolls around, that January, February, it could be New Year's. So we're walking into like the last quarter of the year at the time that I'm recording this. The messages are timeless. They can come in, you know, at any point and deliver something useful. So, you know, you could say even within the next, say, 3 months or something like that. So there could be a plan of action. There could be a process here that you're going through. And the sense of urgency that comes up when we start thinking of all of the things and we start feeling all of the things and we get that overwhelmed sense or the stressed out sense, or I can't go any further until I figure this thing out and I gotta figure it out because, you know, there's a deadline tomorrow or this, that, the other thing. The sense of urgency is that your body's physical response. And that's that stress hormone, that cortisol spike. That's when you need to calm down. You need that breath of fresh air. You need to go for a walk. You need to move your body and settle things down, kind of get grounded, and then say, okay, deadline's tomorrow. We're here. That's fine. I'm going to do the best I can, right? So recognizing that, you know, a first draft might be due, but there could be reworks over the next couple of weeks or couple of months. So it doesn't have to be perfect at the outset. You know what I mean? Like there could be something, an opportunity or a way of thinking that you're not letting yourself bring to the table to keep things on an even keel because you're feeling some kind of a pressure or some kind of an urgency or something like that. And again, that's when we kind of need that change state, where we need to balance our mental and our physical energy in order to keep ourselves centered. But again, I'm picking up this energy of there's hope, there's a new beginning, it's a process, it's unfolding. You know, it's not always going to be like this. And whatever's going on right now really does have something to offer you by way of opportunity or solutions or movement. But you can't see it if you're stuck in the stress state. And it's hard to get out of. Maybe you can only calm yourself down for 10 minutes. And that's barely enough time to, you know, collect your thoughts or make notes or something like that. But at the same time, you just have to, the message that's coming through is to work with this energy, work with how you personally are responding to the stressors that you might be under, and work at balancing that. And when we make that sort of conscious and deliberate, not only do we build, good habits or better coping strategies or this, that, the other thing, but again, we allow ourselves to open up and receive the insight, information, synchronicities, or just a practical support that can come from around us in order to get through whatever it is that we're dealing with, whatever's at hand. So there's definitely this energy here of needing to calm the nervous system. That's also very much of like an Aquarian kind of a trait. Needing to calm the nervous system, needing to balance the mental, emotional, and the physical. And to kind of level these things out. Not only in numerology does the 1-1 reduce to a 2 and have that energy of balance and harmony, and this could be within interpersonal relationships as well. You could be having a stressful day with somebody that you know. But 11 is also a master number in numerology, and that talks about our sphere of influence. And it also talks about, like within, say, a workplace, a business, a community, a family, that kind of a thing. Like, where's your sphere of influence, right? In another sense, though, it talks about, as a master number, the responsibility that we have to that sphere of influence has to do with our energetic vibe, our spiritual vibe, in terms of, can we have a broader perspective? Can we detach from the ego a little bit and see a bigger picture in order to benefit a collective? In astrology, your 11th house, right? The community, the humanitarian, etc., all stuff that's ruled by the sign of Aquarius. So think of like 11th house energy as well, if you want to look that up, in terms of astrology, if you don't already know. But there could be a sense also with that, in terms of, we're not responsible for other people's actions, but we're responsible for how we show up within our sphere of influence. And, how do we want to do that? And are we spiritually aligned within that as we do it? So whether you volunteer, or whether you are, an influencer on social media, or however you participate, that kind of an energy, elevating, not trying to not take the collective personally, but also letting yourself raise your vibration so that you are rippling out more hopefulness, more renewal, new beginning, that kind of a thing. Validating and recognizing, right? And that can take a toll on the nervous system. So, I'm not a doctor. If you need to see a professional for anything that you're going through, by all means, please do. But if you are highly sensitive, if you're an empath or psychic, intuitive medium, or if you just have that experience, at least today, of being stressed, feeling urgent, feeling a pull, whether or not you know where it comes from, pay attention to your own nervous system, pay attention to balancing your mental, emotional energy expended and physical energy expended, and kind of, again, finding that that balance or that harmony as best that you can. Give yourself some grace, but the 211 vibe, because that's where you're at in your head is how you're showing up in the world. And if you feel stressed out, or if you feel overworked in some fashion, that's how you're showing up. It's as simple as that. And if you want to show up differently, then you need to take time to give yourself some grace, give yourself some self-care, and actively participate in balancing your own energies so that what's rippling out from you, that's the responsibility that we have as individuals, our personal responsibility to whatever sphere of influence that we find ourselves in, is really, can we manage our own vibe and show up in that way. So today's energy, it seems like it might be a high stress day. That might not be for everybody, but depending upon your situations and where these stressors are coming from, remember to balance out your physical and your mental, emotional. Remember to shift positions and to tend to your nervous system, especially if, stress spikes those cortisol levels, whether it's mental stress or physical stress. You need to take rest from that. You need to balance that out. And if there's a situation at hand, a problem or an obstacle appearing in front of you, allowing yourself to that time to step back and to shift perspective is what's going to allow it to unfold and allow you to recognize the solution as it is, which then moves you forward. So I certainly hope that those messages resonated and have encouraged anybody who seems to be going through a rough time of it, or confirms that if you're having a good time of it, that you're right on track. No matter where we are, we're always right on track, even when it doesn't feel like it. So hang in there and keep going. Wishing you all lots of love, peace, and blessings. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to being here for you again tomorrow.